fuck, man? What the fuck? Yeah, that's right. I'm saying what the fuck simply because of the fact I just sat through 3 hours of fucking Monday Night Raw last night. It made me want to puke. And this ain't the first time. This is several different times. When the fuck is WWE storyline writing gonna wake the hell up? Welcome to the WWE storyline rant video. Here, pretty much, I've went ahead and I have sat back. And I've never said anything. I voiced my opinion, but I didn't get loud. I didn't get mean. I didn't get crazy over it like other people I've seen on YouTube. But after last night of sitting through 3 hours of horrendous, horrible WWE programming, I think it's just about time that I unload my frustrations out on WWE programming. Okay? Simplistic. Number one, they got way too many fucking storyline writers to make up a damn story. If they needed that many people to write up a story for a movie, there would be too many fucking ideas and things that the story would never be written. Because there'd be too many fucking things going on at one time. They don't need these many heads going ahead and collaborating together to create a story. Now, I'm going to use a couple of people, two people I'm, subscribe to, and I very much value their opinion, and they're pretty smart in what they talk about with professional wrestling. One guy I'm subscribed to is JD from New York 206. This guy has got ideas that are so right. Number one, he stated one thing. Keep it simplistic. It doesn't have to be hard. The more complex you make it, the harder it gets, and the more of a pain in the ass it is to watch. So keep it simplistic. Make it about championships. Make it about screw jobs. Make it about whatever. But all these Mickey Mouse things, like the Rusev Dolph Ziggler thing that went on for 2 fucking months, that was ridiculous. And then they ended it with some fucking horrendous load of crap last night about some BS showing reality, mixing it with storylines, making everything skewed and fucked up. Where they're crossing storylines with reality. It don't make any fucking sense. It's worse than watching the movie The Matrix, okay? That's how fucking ridiculous this shit's gotten, okay? Some other things about what they've been doing. Seth Rollins facing Kane. What's the purpose behind this? Why do they have to put Kane in this position for a WWE title? And not to mention, they're making this guy look great against Seth Rollins. And they shouldn't be. Seth Rollins should be kicking Kane's ass, number one. Number two, Kane shouldn't even be in a main event title picture. Okay? It's as simple as that. The only thing they got going for him leading into this pay-per-view for this month is Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt and Brock Lesnar and Undertaker. And you know what? That's really sad that Brock Lesnar and Undertaker, two guys that hardly show up on television, don't do a fucking thing but stand there and talk. And Brock Lesnar, on the other hand, doesn't even do any talking. Paul Heyman does all his talking for him. It's just mind-boggling how the fuck a storyline like Brock Lesnar and Undertaker can be better than anything else on this WWE roster. For God's sakes, you got all of this talent going for you, and you're throwing it in the toilet. Neville, a guy who, faced Sheamus a couple of weeks back. Match ends in 30 seconds. 30 fucking seconds! These two guys have never faced each other before. 2 weeks ago. And I mentioned this on one of the Raw reviews whenever this took place. I think it was in October 5th or so. Last week or the week before. And, this match never occurred ever. These two guys have never worked together. And what do? They kick Neville in the face and end it 1, 2, 3 in 30 seconds? Why the fuck do you do that? And then on top of it, you're throwing Wade Barrett with Neville again. What for? Since Neville came up into the main event roster, that's all he's faced. Outside of fucking Stardust and Bo Dallas, and those two fucking rivalries were nothing. They were meaningless. They had no purpose on the WWE main roster. Not to mention the sad, pathetic thing is, Neville had a team with a nobody star that's on a green arrow, red arrow, whatever green arrow, excuse me, the green arrow on UPN. I mean, come on, man, this is fucking ridiculous. I mean, you take a guy like Neville, who was an NXT prospect, main eventer in that portion of the brand. He held on to the title great. The belt looked great on him, and he did an outstanding job with it. Then you move him up to the WWE main roster, and you do this to him? Come on! This guy's got talent up the yin-yang. You throwing him in the toilet for all this bullshit? Come on. Sheamus is our Money in the Bank winner. What the fuck has he done since he's won the Money in the Bank ladder match? Absolutely fucking nothing. He's beaten Randy Orton, that's about the only thing he did, and knocked Neville in the fucking head. And beat him 1, 2, 3. Outside of those two opponents, he has lost to everybody. They have not built anything around this guy to give him any legitimacy to becoming the World Heavyweight Champion. Outside of him cashing it in and losing to the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. So, anything they do at this point in time is pointless to go ahead and do. He is stuck where he is with that damn briefcase until they can build something, build something meaningful around this guy to the point where it's okay to cash it in, so it's a great cash-in for the World Heavyweight Championship. But right now, where he stands at this point, he's in Nowheresville. He might as well be a fucking Intercontinental or a fucking mid-card wrestler at this point. And that's pretty much what he is, holding on to a Money in the Bank briefcase. Are you fucking kidding me? Get the hell out of here, man. Last year, Seth Rollins, he was competing in main event quality matches with Dean Ambrose, John Cena, and he had a main event spot in the Survivor Series and led a whole fucking team against John Cena and Dolph Ziggler's team last year at Survivor Series, which was probably one of the best Survivor Series in the last several years. Okay, I don't know how this year's is going to end up being, but hopefully it's a lot better than, 2013 or 2012. That's all I have to say on that, because 13 and 12 was two shitty fucking Survivor Series pay-per-views. That's all I have to say on that subject. But, seriously, what the fuck is Sheamus doing with this briefcase outside of... He might as well go ahead and, shit inside of it or something, and use the contract to wipe his ass with it. I mean, this is just downright poor, pathetic storyline writing. There's that one example. Other examples. Meaningless fucking promos. We'll go back to the Rusev and Dolph Ziggler stuff. They went on and on and on several different times throughout the last 2 months having promos that went on for 15 fucking minutes sometimes. Or at least 10 at the most. And they meant nothing. Wasting everybody's fucking time. Nobody gave a fuck. Why would you waste your time investing all of your work in a promo that's in a storyline that's going nowhere with the audience? It's pointless. 2 months. It took them 2 months to figure out that nobody gave a fuck about this storyline. Who gives a shit? Really? I'm trying to use some other examples of people, Kevin Owens. He's in a storyline with Ryback. These two guys are supposed to be, competing for the Intercontinental Championship, yet they're not having any kind of fucking interaction with each other. The only interaction we saw was last week of Kevin Owens running away like a fucking bitch. Now, I always thought that, the way they were presenting his character when he first came into the WWE main roster with John Cena is, he wasn't afraid to fight anybody. Especially John Cena. He competed against him very well. And 3 straight good matches. The first 2 were great. The third one was alright. It kind of was watered down, and I think that's just because they did the match month after month after month, and it just lost its, value and its interest to many people. But the matches were good. And Kevin Owens wasn't running away like a scared bitch. He's facing Ryback of all people. He beat John Cena's ass, and then the other 2 matches almost looked like he was able to win against Cena in both of those matches. And now you're having him run away from Ryback? What the fuck? Then he's also beating the shit out of freaking the Lucho Dragons, whatever the fuck their names are. They're a talent that was looking like they were going to be a good tag team to the tag team division. Now they're doing nothing. They're getting their asses kicked by freaking Kevin Owens, jobbing out to him, and looking like they have no point or rhyme or reason to even be on the WWE main roster. They couldn't use some fucking nobody name to come on the show to get his ass kicked by Kevin Owens for Kevin Owens to look good as a badass, and then have him and Ryback interact in a physical confrontation? Are you freaking kidding me, man? The dialogue. Oh, God. The fucking dialogue is so scripted. Seth Rollins. I love the guy to death as a wrestler. And performer, he's outstanding. But his stupid, idiotic mouth when he talks is just dreadful. It's horrible. It's fucking suck-ass bullshit. The only thing I'd like to do is somebody, I'd like to see somebody punch him in the fucking mouth just to see him shut the fuck up. He cannot promote these promos just following a script. I'm sorry. And he is a prime example. He's an outstanding talent, but he cannot promote these promos very well because he's trying to follow a script. And when you're trying to follow a script, unless you're really good at it, you're not going to sound genuine. You're not going to sound original. You're not going to sound like you. You're going to sound like you're being force-fed a bunch of fucking crap to say in front of the audience. Simple as that. And I'm very certain everyone watching this video already knows that. So, in all honesty, let's get a little real, okay? Let's get back. Stay family friendly. I agree with all of that. Family friendly. Keep it where everyone can watch, where it's suitable for everyone, not just a specific, age group, but good for everybody. But bring back the attitude, the passion, the reality, the fucking, allowing people to express themselves as being themselves, not being told what to do as the character. Let themselves promote the character themselves, through who they are. Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Triple H, all the names from all in the 90s and early 2000s. Every one of them at least promoted their character through themselves. They expressed themselves as the character. They said their own words, their own, train of thought. They didn't go on the show with a scripted fucking amount of shit to say and blubber it out of their fucking mouths. They did it as their own train of thought. They just were given a specific, thing that they were supposed to do, what they were, like a specific topic that they were supposed to go on, and kind of go in that direction, but they were given the freedom of creativity to what they said in the ring and what they did. Now, they have no freedom of creativity. They have no freedom of anything. They're lucky they have freedom to fucking do what they do in the ring. And even that sometimes is being taken away from them because of fucking bullshit that they're given a set amount of time for specific matches, and only a specific amount of time is given to their favorite stars on the show. Not the talented ones, but who they think should be the main event. Give me a fucking break, alright? They're top-notch stars. Top-notch right now. And yet they are not even using them except for one. And that is Seth Rollins. He's the number one guy in the company. He's been wearing the belt for almost about 6 months now. Okay? So, the other two guys, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, what are they doing? Nothing. Dean Ambrose is fucking rolling around with the Wyatt family. He's still been fucking with these freaks for the last year. I mean, come on, man. When's enough is enough? I mean, span it out throughout several years. Don't fucking throw it all in one bunch. I mean, I've seen them do this with, The Rock and Triple H. Rock and, Stone Cold, Rock, Triple H. They all had a long-term rivalry, but eventually they took a break from each other. And the break didn't last a few months. It lasted maybe a year or two. But my God, Bray Wyatt and fucking Dean Ambrose. This motherfucker, fought with the Wyatts in 2014, early 2014, then, had a 6-month span of not dealing with them, and then faced Bray Wyatt one-on-one. And, we're getting Bray Wyatt and fucking Dean Ambrose throughout the entire winter of 2014 last year, beating the hell out of each other, and most of the time Bray Wyatt winning the matches. Now we're back again with the same old shit. Except this time he's now with Roman Reigns. Whoopie-doo! And now we got Randy Orton thrown in the mix. Where at one point, Randy Orton, 2 years ago, was fighting with the fucking Shield. But then, what am I talking about? 2 years ago, they became buddies again. They became buddies. Through the Authority faction bullshit. So, I mean, this whole, thing makes no fucking sense. Kane's getting constantly promoted to main event picture. Big Show, he's facing Brock Lesnar, he's getting his ass kicked. All this fucking build-up, we all knew going into MSG, the live event, he was going to get his ass kicked, and that's pretty much what happened. I mean, the match wasn't bad. I won't say it was horrible. But it was fucking short. That's one. And two, it was the most predictable result of all of them. Outside of John Cena and Seth Rollins, that was fucking predictable too. But I mean, come on, man. And the other thing, the one biggest thing that bothers me the most is the predictability of these results of these matches. It's the same fucking thing. They have same fucking matches week after week after week. They don't even have to plan out any kind of creativity towards these matches. They don't have to create a creative, create a different card every week. Hell, they can use the same fucking storyline they wrote last week. They don't have to write anything for the new week. They can just reuse the fucking, do a rerun. That's what they fucking do every fucking week. Same old shit. Just, a little bit of a change here and there, but about the same fucking thing. You're not missing much. John Cena, Dolph Ziggler last night. Fucking unbelievable match. Gotta give credit to John Cena. I put no blame on John Cena for winning the match. I don't think that he has a fucking thing to do with anything with the match results or anything like that. That's all Vince McMahon and the WWE creative team. I think, and I said this on Joe Cronin show, man. Last night on the live review for Monday Night Raw for last night, I said to him, I said, don't you think that Dolph Ziggler, what did you think would have been better? Dolph Ziggler winning the U.S. Championship, defending it against John Cena, and then John Cena losing to Dolph Ziggler. I messed up there. If Joe Cronin, if you happen to see this video, I meant to say to you that if Dolph Ziggler would beat John Cena at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view to retain his title in the rematch clause, would that have been a good idea? And his answer to that was, yeah, it would have been great. The idea of doing that would have been awesome because, he said it just the way I, think of it. It would have been surprising, number one. Nobody would have expected it. Two, Chicago was fucking dead as shit last night. Nobody was giving a flying fuck. They found a man proposing to a woman for marriage. It was more entertaining than the fucking match itself. Hell, even John Cena must have been bored of the match doing it with Dolph Ziggler, that he took the time out of the match to congratulate the guy for proposing in the freaking live audience. I've never seen anything like this fucking bullshit before. Okay? So, would I have rather seen Dolph Ziggler win the championship? Absolutely, because of the fact that, number one, like Joe Cronin said, the audience would have been getting a bigger pop out of the match. You would have seen something different. And you would have had another great match to look forward to leading into Hell in a Cell. And not to mention, you would have had some kind of story build-up between Dolph Ziggler and John Cena, giving them a purpose to have a match at Hell in a Cell. Hey, he won the title. I lost my belt. I won a rematch. I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to take it back. No, we don't get that. We get John Cena retaining his championship again in the 50 million different U.S. Open challenges. This would have been the best one. The best championship loss. John Cena would have looked great. Dolph Ziggler would have looked great, and it would have been a complete surprise to everybody. But do we get that? No. And here's the reason why. Because Vince McMahon simplistically is shitting on us. That's it. It's as simple as that. He don't give a fuck about us anymore. And I'll tell you why. And I said this in a video a long time ago when I first started this channel back in February of this year. He is doing this simplistically and, rational. It's really rational. It makes a lot of sense. Think about it. Back in the 2000s, 2008, 2007, there was a thing where live streaming was capable, where people were capable of watching live pay-per-views as it was going on, without paying for it, getting it absolutely free on illegal websites. Okay? So, people were watching it. He was losing buy rates. UFC was having the exact same problem. They finally took care of that. You can't watch a fucking live event of UFC on a live streaming channel anywhere on the internet. It's nearly impossible to find it. If you can, let me know. I'd love to see some live instead of watching it pre-recorded. But I'm not too worried about that. UFC has been kind of like in the toilet their own selves, but that ain't even the point. The point is, he went ahead and started noticing this. He started blocking it. Apparently he was having a problem doing that because you could go anywhere and anywhere, any place and anywhere on the internet and at least find some place to be able to watch the damn pay-per-views live from beginning to end with no interruption. Sometimes you'd have to switch over to other channels because they get blocked out, but one way or another you were able to watch the whole fucking thing. So what does he do? He comes up with a creative idea where everyone goes, oh my God, I'm going to be able to watch WWE for absolutely nothing. $9.99. Wow, that's cheaper than watching any fucking WWE pay-per-view they throw on television. I don't have to pay no $54.99, or back in the day it was $39.99 and all that kind of shit. I can watch it for a cheaper price, and I get a shitload of other things thrown in there. A whole fucking library where I don't even have to waste my money if I'm a big wrestling fanatic and waste my money on DVDs for wrestling pay-per-views. Hell, I can watch every fucking one of them in chronological order. You know? And so he comes up with the idea. He throws that to us all. $9.99, February 24th, 2014. Bam! Right at the day after Elimination Chamber, with one of the fucking best matches on the card, with the Shield versus the Wyatt family. The Elimination Chamber match itself was awesome. A few other things if you were intrigued. I liked the Elimination Chamber 2014. It was decent. It wasn't horrible. And, you know, we get the WWE Network finally. We don't have to go ahead, spend any large amounts of money. Now we pay only $9.99 a month, plus also with all the fucking WWE, WCW, and ECW content we can muster out of our ass, okay, to watch. So we get that, and what do we get on the very first fucking WWE pay-per-view? WrestleMania 30. Well, I don't have to go in heavy detail. About the only memorable thing on this fucking card was two damn things. Brock Lesnar beating The Undertaker one-on-one and ending the streak, which wasn't all that great. It was okay, but the ending was just the main thing that sticks in everybody's mind. And then Daniel Bryan doing a Bret Hart imitation of WrestleMania 10, I believe. Yeah, WrestleMania 10. Going ahead, having two matches in one night. The only difference is Daniel Bryan won both of his matches, while Owen Hart won his match against his brother Bret Hart. And then goes on to win the World Heavyweight Championship. That's all we get for a fucking 4-hour show of memory. It's just those two moments. John Cena, Bray Wyatt, average match. Not bad, but nothing to go crazy over or cry home about. Fucking, hell, I can't even remember half the shit. Oh, Rock, Stone Cold, and Hulk Hogan. Well, that was a nice little promo introduction and giving us an insight on the WWE Network and how things are kind of looking. But who cares? Really? Who fucking cares? Rock, Hulk Hogan, and Stone Cold. Like, who fucking gives a shit about three guys in the middle of the ring and one of them being a fucking blowhard racist and a fucking low-life piece of shit? Speaking of Hulk Hogan, if you guys didn't get my drift on who I was referring to at that in that portion of my comments. But it's real simplistic here. There's nothing hard to understand. We get a fucking first time ever pay-per-view. It's the biggest one of them all, and we get a fucking two memorable moments with Daniel Bryan throughout the entire night going for the World Heavyweight Championship belt and Undertaker being defeated by Brock Lesnar. That don't sound like WrestleMania to me, folks. I mean, there was a lot of things I've seen in the past history of WrestleManias that had more memory and more, a lot more, you know, invested time and well-built built storylines for matches that will stick in your mind for a lifetime. For example, fucking WrestleMania 29, even though the main event was a repeat of the same fucking thing and we all knew John Cena was going to win, 29 was still better than 30. Thank God the next year after that we got 31, and that was actually better than 29 and 30 put together. I have to admit that. But we as a whole are getting fucked up the ass beyond belief. Daniel Bryan 2 years in a row has not competed and won the fucking Royal Rumble. The guy deserves to be the fucking Royal Rumble winner. He deserves to be in the main event of WrestleMania, not like how he did at WrestleMania 30, but actually win the Royal Rumble match and face the World Heavyweight Championship in the main event without having to competing and do freaking matches in one night. Okay? That's what the people want. That's what the people want to see, and they don't want to give us that. For whatever reason, whether it's because Daniel Bryan's small, because he gets too many concussions in one year, I don't fucking know, and I really don't give a damn. The reality of all of this is Daniel Bryan is the star, is the man, is the Stone Cold Steve Austin of this era. He is also a fantastic wrestler. He is better than Stone Cold in wrestling skills. He is maybe not better as a character than Stone Cold, because Stone Cold had raw attitude and a lot of, he just whipped ass. Daniel Bryan, he gives you a freaking great show. He is the star of this company. Seth Rollins is the heel of this company. You have got to put Daniel Bryan where he belongs. The main event. The face of the WWE. That's what he deserves. Does he need to cut down on some of the moves he does so he doesn't give himself concussions? Absolutely, I agree with that. He needs to change some of the wrestling moves so he can avoid from getting concussions. But that don't take away the fact that this man deserves to be your main event, your face of the company. I mean, it's not that fucking hard to understand that Daniel Bryan is the man. I'm not the only one that says this. There's a lot of other people who would agree with me on this subject. So, month after month after month, for the last year, since 2014 of February, we've gotten shittier and shittier and shittier programming and shittier fucking pay-per-views at times. Once in a blue moon we get a really good pay-per-view, but most of the time we're getting fucked up the ass. Why? Simple. Because for many years there was a lot of people trying to go ahead and watch this shit illegally. So now Vince McMahon's giving us the middle finger and telling us to go fuck ourselves and accept it for what it is. And if we can't, go fuck off. That's what he's telling us. And that, my friend, will put you in the fucking ground quicker than you can say boo. Okay? This guy is an idiot for doing this, number one. Number two, I can understand from his point of view. I can understand that he would be upset and, feel like he's being robbed of, the money that he feels he's earned. And so does he feel probably for the rest of the company. Okay, I understand that. But you don't fucking do this kind of shit for a whole year. I can understand for a little while. I can understand maybe not the greatest pay-per-views every month. Maybe only with the big names. Like the SummerSlams, the Royal Rumbles, the Survivor Series, the WrestleManias. But come on, man. Give us some fucking good quality show. Give us some hard-working, ideas. Make people sound like people, like adults, instead of sounding like a couple of fucking school kids in the playground. Okay, I mean, I watched the Divas. Okay, this has like been forever now. The Divas, they go ahead and they don't wrestle. They piss and moan like fucking kids in a high school. JD has even said this. And he's totally right about this Divas Revolution. This Divas Revolution, what Divas Revolution? The same old fucking shit that we've seen for the past 10, 20 years? Give me a freaking break here. I mean, hell, the only thing that was revolutionizing in WWE Divas Wrestling is fucking Lita and Trish Stratus in 2005 in December. Hell, I even remember that. It was the main event of Monday Night Raw for the Divas Championship, or women's title is what it should have been, is what it should be called, and was called back then, when wrestling actually was good. I mean, it wasn't the highest popularity that everyone went jumping for joy for wrestling, but it was still popular. And it still had meaning. It had a purpose. It didn't waste your time for 3 fucking hours straight, making you bored out of your mind and making you want to switch the channel every time you take a look at it, and it bores the living hell out of you. Alright? So, this Divas Revolution is like a fucking joke. It's just a bunch of fucking clowns acting like sorority girls in a college and doing ridiculous, dumb shit with one another. It's meaningless. It's the same old crap we've seen for the past 2 decades now that nobody gives a fuck about. That's why the divas don't mean shit to nobody. Now, from what I've seen in some of the NXT TakeOver shows, I watch the takeovers, and I check them out. I don't watch the 1 hour shows because I just am not a fan of 1 hour. I like 2 hours mostly. I don't like 3 too much, but if you got me, you know, if you got a good quality show, I'll watch it. But these 3 hour shows that are fucking horrible quality, horrible effort to promote to me, to catch my interest and make me intrigued of what I'm watching, ain't cutting it, man. You ain't doing shit. All you're doing is wasting people's lives of 3 hours every Monday night. And fuck, SmackDown doesn't even exist in anybody's mind anymore. That doesn't even fucking matter. They might as well take that off the air altogether. The storylines are just secondary storylines they use on SmackDown. They don't use the WWE Championship storylines or use Brock Lesnar and Undertaker's build-ups at all. SmackDown's like a nothing. So, you know, you take our time and you waste it, and then you take more of our time on the network and you waste more of it with some of these fucking shitty ass pay-per-views. I have to admit though, the SummerSlam pay-per-view was good once we got out of the first hour of the 4 hour show. I have to admit that. That was a pretty good show. The Night of Champions, that was pretty entertaining. I can't say it was horrible. I just did not like the fact that Sting couldn't win the damn title, but we might have a possibility of Kane winning the fucking WWE Championship. For God's sakes, help me. I'd have rather seen Sting win the title and then lose it to fucking Sheamus the same night. I wouldn't give a shit about that. But this is just fucking sickening. Another thing, as I've mentioned 100 times over again, if Kane wins that WWE World Heavyweight Championship, they do not have Sheamus, and I'm totally against them having Sheamus cash in. But if they decide to have Sheamus cash in on Kane, I will continue to watch WWE's shitty programming. But I will not, and I swear on this on my life, if they have Kane win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and they do not have Sheamus cash in or win against Kane, and Kane happens to beat Sheamus while cashing in, I'm done with WWE for a very, very long time till I see something different. And the only way I'm going to be able to see different, I'm going to go on NoDQ.com. I'm going to check out results, spoilers, all that kind of shit. I ain't watching the damn programming. I'll read about it. I'll see what it's like and see if anything's changed on it. If nothing has changed on it, I ain't watching it anymore. I'm not going to waste my time for 3 fucking hours, being bored out of my mind. I'd rather watch Monday Night Football than waste my time watching this shit. Seriously. But I will continue to provide, as I've said before in the last couple of videos, I said this. I will continue to provide some sort of wrestling content to you guys. Because that's what this channel is. It ain't just about football, UFC, and all that shit. I want to expand out to do other things besides wrestling, but I will continue to promote wrestling content on this channel of some kind. With any wrestling news, with any kind of TNA or, even fucking TNA. I'd rather waste 2 hours of my fucking time, anytime, watching it pre-recorded than wasting 3 hours of my time watching it live and seeing absolute garbage like I have been. Just sorry to say that, but that's how I feel. And I can at least skip through the garbage on the TNA shit. I like watching WWE Raw live. That is something I want to see live, and yet I'm getting crappy programming to watch it live. I don't want to waste 3 hours of my fucking time skipping through freaking shit to catch other things that catch my attention. Shoot, I'd only spend 30 minutes watching the show, and that ain't even worth my time if I gotta skip through a whole 3-hour show, mostly. So, that's just my attitude, that's my opinion. Like it, don't like it, that's your right. That's just the way it is. That's how I feel on it. But at this time, I've really busted out a lot of frustration and aggravation towards this shit. I'm really sick and tired of the WWE storyline writers, Vincent McMahon, the political garbage, all of it. It's just draining on not just me, but everyone else as a pure wrestling fan of WWE. And I'm never going to turn my back on WWE, but I can't sit by and continue to watch the carnage, if you will, or the destruction of WWE falling apart at the seams anymore. I just can't take it. And Kane is my end-all, be-all. I'm done with WWE until something changes with this fucking company. But anyway, at this time, leave your comments and opinions down below. I definitely will get back to anyone that replies or leaves a comment on my video, as I always do. And hit that subscribe button. I thank you very much, guys, for watching, and have a great night, guys. Bye.